Hey, this is Greg with Venue Tech Connect. I'd like to take about 5 or 6 minutes and walk you through VTC Roster, which is our visual location-based inventory management solution. Roster was conceived to help simplify managing and tracking all of your technology throughout the entire life cycle of the products. We say it's location based because we take all of the technology in an organization and we divide it into different locations. Those primary locations are typically venues. But because venues are so large and have so many products, we can break each location into smaller sub locations that nest inside. So I want to take a couple minutes and show you what it looks like to put in your first location and then show you a roster that already has locations in it so you can see how it operates. So from your roster page, you go to the upper right and there's an add location button. In this case, I'm just going to enter in, whether it's a basketball arena or a football stadium, you enter the name. The parent location is only really applicable when you already have primary locations. This is where you will choose where to nest a sub location. That'll make more sense as I show you an existing roster here in a second. But now we can add in a primary contact for each location, a phone number, address, directions, and a key code. So if I move out of here and go into a roster that already has locations, you can see this is set up like a college, got a handful of venues, a baseball park, basketball arena. What you'll notice on each of these locations is you've got some key information displayed on the front page. You've got the address, you have the primary contact, you have the number of sub locations that are nested in that primary location, and the number of products. There's also an eye next to each location with a circle around it. If I click it, it gives me the basic information on each location, like the address and the contact and phone number and key code, uh, and so forth. Now, when I go into a specific location, I'm going to go into baseball park right now. What you'll see is I've got 7 sublocations, so this brings me to a list of those 7 sublocations. If you notice, that first one is a broadcast control room, and it has 3 smaller sections or sublocations inside of it. If I select the broadcast control room, I see those 3 sublocations there are my racks. And if I go to rack 1, which it says there are 2 products entered, now I'm getting down to my product categories. And you'll have all of your product categories listed for each sublocation you go into. I'm going to go into my CG and see that that CG is actually an expression. If I select it, I come into my product details. Now, when looking at product details, we're tracking things like, the manufacturer and the product name, the version, serial number, but we're even looking at things like purchase date, warranty dates. There's a lot of functionality we're going to build off of the data we're collecting. We have the ability to track the products based on the way that it's currently the status of that product. So if it's in operation, if it's been removed, if it's out for service, and we're tracking things like what consultant did you use, what integrator or installer, having any other vendors. That is so that over time you can search for products by the product name or by any of the vendors you worked with when you acquired that product. So if I go back to that front page, I can go to the top search bar, and there's another way I can locate products. So we drilled into my baseball park and found an expression. So if I type in expression here, you're going to see it's going to pull up all my expressions. I have 4 of them. If you look at the third one down, that's the baseball park. And it shows directly below it, baseball park, it was nested into broadcast control room and into rack 1. So it's an easy way to locate any of your products and immediately go to them. Now, I also could look up top to that search and I could type in any of the vendors. So I'm going to type in Ross. It's going to bring up those expressions as well as a carbonite. Really simple to access things. Some of the things that we're bringing online for Roster over the coming months, one of them is a bulk import tool, which will be available here within a few weeks. We're going to add QR code labels in a QR code checkout system. There will be a whole host of things to be able to track warranties, end of life. We'll be able to push updates from manufacturers or other vendors, as well as from our internal VTC staff when we, for instance, find that there's a particular bug being reported on a particular product. We could push out updates to users to kind of alert people to keep your eyes open for things. We're going to add the ability for you to sell inventory out of your roster. So if you've got a 10-year-old switcher, you're wanting to replace it, you could simply select under the status, list for sale, and it's going to push out to a dedicated marketplace and alert all sorts of people within the platform who have tracked or have said that they want to track and be notified if somebody's selling a switcher. Lots of cool things we're going to add. Hopefully this gives you a start to start moving through. Understand that when the bulk import tool comes, it's going to make things a lot simpler. If you'd like to participate as a beta user and to provide feedback, we're creating a user group just for Roster so that we can make sure that we're prioritizing the features based on what individual teams and schools and other locations need. So thanks so much. Hopefully this was helpful.